Hello. Okay. Share. Okay. Is everything good now? Oh, this one. Okay. Hello. Okay. Let's wait a little bit. Yeah, I should show the text. Yeah. Hello. Right. I should change my layout a little bit. So is the size okay? I guess that would be a little bit too big for me. I guess this should looks okay. Right. Yeah. Anything you want to talk about? Yeah, we haven't started yet. So we have like 2 minutes. Yeah, I think last week I streamed like 3 times, and I probably speak a little bit too much. So you see that my sound will be a little bit, I don't know how to say that. It's like my throat hurts a little bit. It's not hurt. It's like it just I speak too much. But I mean, I probably should speak more to get it practiced. Otherwise, like, yeah, if I'm like working at home, I don't need to actually speak a lot. Like, so probably it's not a good thing to not speak. So anyway, so yeah. So I'm actually quite happy about we already made a bunch of progress in terms of this project. In terms of 1 week, I think we achieved a lot, and yeah, I hope you enjoying so far. And yeah, if you don't understand any concept or there's anything that maybe I speak too fast or maybe I just code too fast, let me know. If you kind of like miss some part, and I will spend more time explaining all those things. Otherwise, we just keep going. Yeah, hot water. Yeah, hot water always works, right? Like the magic Chinese medicine, hot water. Drink more hot water. All right, and so it's the time. So I hide this text, and all right, I think okay. I think everything goes well. So that started. So the first that's yeah. So I'm the first is like if you miss that we made an extra stream on last Friday. So in total we have 3 streams last week. And if you haven't watched it, yeah, maybe you'll find time to doing so. So basically in the last stream, what we do is like we fix the bug of the web container that we were facing on the second live streaming. And that was mainly because that I will show you the code directly, I think. So where is it? So here, it's the web container on server ready. So this hook's being called multiple times, and there's multiple ports like Nuxt listen to. And the first will be 3000, and then there will be some internal ports. So and later on, it's like when Nuxt starts, it will like have several ports. And we were listening the last port because previously we always assigned to the URL. So that causing it the internal ports is actually not a full Nuxt server. So it doesn't do any like static search serving. So here we just to fix that we're just checking the port is something that we wanted. And so this is amazing because this is contributed by you. So we have quite a lot PRs coming every day, and I appreciate that a lot. And last thing I think that's here, and where is it? So it's 12 and 20. So basically they try to investigate. Yeah, so here that you can see it's because like there's a multiple ports coming, but we only need the 3000 port. So that would be kind a setup issue. So we fix that. So everything goes well. And in the last streaming, we kind of do quite some refactoring to move this logic about web container starting the playground server out to becomes a composable. And we also extract the state of playground to move it to use Pina. So here is a defined store, and we use Pina to serve those data. So it can be shared, so you can use playground store. So if you search for it in every components, I can say use playground store, so I can get all the attribute from play dot something. And so so the last streaming we basically do refactoring, and we kind of split some components out, and I do a few later on. And also I think last time we had a basic editor. The editor is very simple. So basically lists all the files, and we put a text area. It just browsers native text editor, and we just do like on text input, and we save that data back to web container. So as a result, here you will see the layout will be like that, and here is the basic editor, and we don't have any syntax highlight or anything. But the basic function is working, so that if you want to say hello, hello YouTube, like that. So you see that this is like library load hard module replacement, and everything works fine. So that's a quick recap from from last streaming. And after the streaming, I also did a few a little bit like refactor. It's basically just refactor file to virtual file, because we always kind of conflict with the type with the global file. So I think it's better to kind of have a virtual file so it can be like distinguished. And then it's like basically renaming something. It's like we have panel guide. Now it's like we consistently call it panel docs. And that's it. And this is not a thing. So we fix the type opinion, and there's some regression about the riff thing. So there's a PR fixing it. And the panel size, which is my mistake. So I forgot to change the name of that thing. So basically we fix that. And then enable minify is basically for production and loading template async. Okay, so this is also a kind of factor. So last time we can refactor this template loading to be templates dash basic. So here you can see here the templates. So we have the basic folder. We also have a basic file. That's globe all the things. So we kind of move the globe thing and also the file system to web container thing here, so that it's better isolated. So later, if we have multiple like templates for different parts, we can just adding a file that's importing it. So we don't need to like so we don't need to care about the details about like how paths resolve or something. So every time we want it, we just import that. And then we have an index file. The index file lists all the template here. So here on current stage, we only have basic template. So we do an async chunk. So this is the reason we do this dynamic import is like when we bundling these things, it will be a dynamic chunk. So that means if we don't use if we never call this function, the import will never be imported into your browser. So it can save some bandwidth and also like make it faster. Well, that in our case, at the current stage, we always import it, but it's better to have an async chunk for it. So so the playground here, it'll be web container, and we have a mount playground function, and we basically like call template.basic, and we await for it. So now we have files and trees. So that's the trees we can mount into web container here. So so basically it's like for future, but I just think this is straightforward refactor. So I just did it as a commit to it. And then okay, we have loading template async and filter out some files. Filter out some files is basically like that. So for the editor, we don't want to present like PNPM log or PNPM workspace that some actual files that are supporting the project. But as a tutorial, as a playground, that usually we don't want like introducing too much concept to the user, so we can hide those files. It's pretty basic, and it's currently like only checking if it's a file path. But later, I think we might use a globe so that it can be matching with multiple file, and instead of like this is currently is really hard coded. And maybe depends on the needs, we may able to configure it by passing pops to say some files we want to ignore or some are not. And that's it. And then I improve the terminal thing. It's just adding some color to it. So you see that the terminal is no longer black, and the color will be more a little bit better and less saturated. And I will change to white mode to let you see, so that the terminal will becomes white thing. So that it's kind of actually mapping like more aligned with the overall feeling. And today we're going to make a preview as well as like a synchronized with our dark thing. So I don't want it to be a kind of huge white chunk here. So that's it. And back to our commits. And so, and then move the communication logic to plugin, which is like currently we will like communicate with the parent about navigation. That's every time the route changes, we send a post message to the parent. So here on the navigation panel, when we click it, we can see the path being updated. And that was initially putting into an app.view, but I don't want it to be like make it hard to read. So like here is like, I'll just make it easy. So move it as a plugin. So just move to plugins folder and playground.client. .client means that these hooks will only run on client side, so we don't need the process.client check. So this is a Nuxt feature, and later we'll refactor it to be a bit like more efficient. And yeah, talking about that, and just like we have a bit like a spoiler. So we basically have a friend to parent communication with RPC. That's something we're going to do. And this PR already did some like exploration or research. So if you are interested, you can also check it. But so, and I think for today's streaming, we're going to do that by ourselves. And but I still appreciate about this PR. So I would say that later if we implement those logic, I'll include this contributor as the co-author of that commit. So that's even this like eventually this pull request will get rejected, will get closed, but like this contributor can still get his own credit. So I will tell I'll tell you like how you can do it if you are maintainer, and that would be something that's kind of important to also like credit contributors, even though you don't take that PRs directly. And so that's something that we are going to refactor today. And then we have set color mode after toggle is here is the color mode. The color mode module has a preference. So you need to save that preference back to that. So because the color mode can have multiple sources. It's like if user want to explicitly set to light mode or dark mode, or should we respect the system's default that's inherent from the system. So so color mode or preference, that means that here user has a explicit preference on light mode or dark mode, which will override the behavior of the system. And that's something because like previously we only assigned to value, and that means it's actually not persisted. So every time you refresh it, it just go back to the previous color. And linked, and then we have a stable layout. So this is a bit like a hacking around the package we are using is called split pans, and it doesn't save the panel size in server side render because all the things are like running on the client. So adding a little bit like hack to adding the initial style for it. But later we'll see how we can fix this library, or like we might have another library for it. But anyway, I just let you know. This is mainly for a stable layout. So you see that right now if I refresh it, oh sorry, this is the production. I will update it. So it's 3000. So here if I refresh it, you see that there is no layout shift. So the panel does not shift. That was like initially they will have the panels there. So every time you change it, refresh it, the line was always here. So this is server render friendly. And if you check the page source, you will see here, I think here, that's a lot. So I'm not sure. Here, you actually injecting a style for height and width. So like basically on the server side, without like a flash of unstyled components, this is always stable. So that would be nice. So that's each components can be loaded, each panel's content can be loaded lazily, while that's when you refresh it, the layout works the same. So that's it. So later we can see how we can fix that, adding a small comment here. And then we have, yeah, and I just adding a little bit like styling thing. So it's changing, it's adding the progress steps here. So it basically the status we have, but now it's like listing a little bit like different steps and install a dependency after it's finished. We're booting Nuxt server. So I think we're going to replace this loading screen with still with our status, but like this is something we're going to do later. And yeah, I think that's pretty much the catch up, the recap about the changes we have made in the live streaming and the time between last streaming and now. So I hope that makes sense to you, and I hope the change I did during not during streaming shouldn't be too much to catch up. So I just try to focusing more on the styling part, and so I just changing the styles or how things look, and but I will leave the logic, most of the logic here to for the live streaming. So so that's it. So and that'll start to doing things for today. So I guess the main thing that I would like to do is to at least adding a little bit style to make the iframe not looking so bad, like not like basic styles and not like I mean what I going to say. Yeah, at least we have set the background. I think at least we should sync with the color mode, so that every time it change to dark, the preview should change to dark as well. But we also want to retain the capability of having the app to kind override those things. So, and of course, like we don't want to introduce too much dependency to this plugin, to this playground. So currently we only have Nuxt and Vue. So I hope that ideally we could keep that the same or not too much. And yeah, and I think that's we can try to do that. So to make it easy, I think we can basically include a very basic static CSS as the default, so that user can still override it later. So and here if we look at our template, and so actually to make it easier, we could also like we can close our server, we can cd to that template basic, and we can actually start a server here. So here is so here now 3000 will becomes the thing that's inside the playground. So like every time we change something, like we have the hot module replacement instead of like booting the web container again. And so here I think maybe we could have a default styles, and like the playground here, just adding here as a simple plugin. And actually if we're going to do will be the styles and maybe the basic TS, right? And maybe we could have a HTML and body. Oh, and I made the mistake. Okay. So I'm not so sure what we're going to have, but I think at least dark. For dark, and I think it's HTML dark. So we could have a background color schema for dark, and then we have background And what's the background color is it? So here is this thing. So we have this. And maybe the color will be, no, it's like we don't need to set a color because the color scheme will already set that the front color to white. And so here is basically like, just say that we have the basic CSS, and we can change these things to be CSS, and then we have styles, the basic. Oh, I made it wrong. So here it should be inside of the basic here. So it'll be let's call it base. So it's like the base style, not basic. So here is the base, right? But we only adding that when the HTML has the class doc. Then we change the color mode, or we change the background color. But we don't actually do any about the syncing here. Oh, styles. I guess we need to refresh the server. Whoa. How come? Style. Did I make any typo? Oh, maybe I should use this. Okay. I should use this, I think. Okay. And maybe we need to change our font as well. So we could have HTML and font family to be sans serif. Yeah, at least for that. And probably we want to have DM sans as well. And for that, if we don't want to introduce Uno CSS, I think we need to do it manually. So let's go to, should we do bunny fonts? Is that a thing? Okay. So if we do DM sans here, and we do like normal one. So if we put this here, I think that would do, right? I think that would be making it as a DM sans. So it's actually matching. It's matching better with the with our font. And here, yeah. So back to the topic. It's like we even though we have the color, even though we have the thing for dark, we still don't. We never assign these things. We don't have a logic to assign this dark class to HTML. So probably we need to do it here. And here, this is like sending message to the parent. And we also might want to add event listener. So we can say that if the data type would not be like color mode, or maybe it's dark. Maybe just say color mode. And it's dark, maybe. So we could have a mode equal to dark if it's not. So basically we have a document element, which is actually the HTML element. And we have class list, toggle dark, and if it's dark, and we can check it. So yeah, it doesn't, the ESLint says that you shouldn't declare. So we can do it basically like that. I guess that would be fine. So here. So here we basically add listener to message, and we know that so we can say that when the, I think we can call it, okay, type would be fine. Later we will change it anyway. So we basically have the data, and to check if the data type will be color mode, and if it's color mode, we're checking if the mode is dark, and we can just toggling the class. So here, the toggle function is basically to say if you pass a true, it'll add the dark. And if it's not, if you're adding false, it'll be like remove this class. So so we're adding this logic here. So if the mode is light, it's basically false. So so here is the logic here. So this plugin is like mainly for communicate with the parent. And if we don't, I think that's it. And then we need to test it out, right? But currently, we need to switch back to the playground. So that's you can communicate with that. Is it lagging? Really? All right. And I'll just zoom out a little bit. All right. All right. You see that's the font changes, but the color isn't. And that because we haven't implement how we send the message back to this iframe. So we can go to the preview count. Yeah. So that's we basically have the iframe, right? And I think that's so because we have this iframe, maybe you can say unload it. So it'll be at load and on iframe load. And we can have a function here. Wait, what's that? I don't know how to change my input method. All right, and on iframe load, I guess. So basically, when iframe load, we need to send the message back to the iframe. So I'm not sure that's right. So send message. No, it's the content window. Post message. Okay, this is the message, and we have the type. So we have the color mode, and we have the mode, which is color mode. So basically, we have here is like color. Font size is too small. I already tried. This is too big for me. But yeah, I will try. So mode here will be like color mode, right? But that says it's like this is not reactive because this only on iframe load. And I assume that this might not always works because as soon as this iframe is being loaded, you send the post message, but the listener might not be registered yet. So let's check that we have a console log message to iframe, and we have event data, right? And that's it. So basically, when we post the message, we need to target origin. We have to set this thing to make it working, I guess. So let's refresh it. And I'm not sure if that works. So we can change the lock. Okay, you see, now this is aligning with the dark mode. And here is the message to iframe, and the content is the thing we just said. So that's great. And but you see that the problem here is like whenever we change the color mode, it doesn't synchronize. And to do so, it shouldn't be hard. So we basically have a watch if. So we basically we can extract these things into a function. So we can sync color mode like that. So like when iframe load, we can synchronize it, and otherwise we can have a watch. So the watch will be yeah, color mode. I think that's it. So when we watch on the color mode, and whenever it changes, we sync it. We synchronize it. So it should works, I guess. And here you see that this is a bit weird because the status and iframe shows at the same time. So this is due to hard module replacement. Let's check. Let's check first. All right. So it has a little bit delay, and we will see how we can fix that. And but you see that when we click it, it's sending a new message to it to update this color mode. So now it's like it synchronized it, but you still may see a kind of small flash. So probably if we want to make it faster, I think for here we can have a flash synchronize. So it doesn't so the synchronize means so the flash can be pre, post, sync, and pre and post will be waiting a tick. This is a vit. This is a view sync. So synchronize is like whenever, as far as the value changes, it just call this function immediately, and otherwise the default behavior will be post, I think, and it only do it when the next render. So in view you have the next tick sync. So like whenever you change something reactively, the value doesn't change immediately, but it's kind of batch all. It can't batch all changes happen in a same tick. That means that in like 10 milliseconds, if you change if a lot of values change at the same times, they will only update once, rather than like if you do that in 10 milliseconds, you change like 1,000 times, it renders 1,000, which is not efficient. So Vue has a tick system that's it's kind of bench all the synchronized changes to be one tick. So a lot of changes happen in one tick will be only renders once. But here we especially want it to be as fast as possible, so we don't want wait for that tick. So we have the flash sync. So just whenever you use it, be careful that it may lead to some performance issue, especially when you watching something that's has a lot of moving part. But here is pretty basic. Here it's pretty simple. We'll change one value, we send one message, and that's it. So it should be fine here. And here, and so here we see that it's working. But here you see this is like mixing together, and I guess that can be because Pinion has a HMR requirement. So you basically need to make sure that you have this code when using Vite. So so in order to fix that, I think we can go to our stores, and then we put in the UI. So it's use UI state. So like that, and I guess we don't need a comment. And also here, it'll be use playground state. Yeah. And I guess that will fix the HMR issue, I guess. I'm not so sure. I guess so. So yeah, at least now it's working. And yeah, I saw a comment here. It's like we should pass the dark and light mode in iframe, so that the frame can change the dark mode easier. Oh no, it's not easier. It's earlier, because we have when we in a dark mode, we have I think we have a flash of the white, and then it goes to I think we have a flash. Right? Let's check. Yeah, we have a flash of white. So I'm not sure about URL, but I'm wonder if there's a better way to pass that message. I mean URL would be fine, but because currently we can only rely on post message because this friend will be different origin than ours. So here the source will be some URL provided by web container, and while that's our region will be like localhost. So it cannot be it's rendered in different thread, and you cannot access the variables inside it directly. But when you are in the same origin, you can directly access all the things in the parent or in the contents like two direction, because they are rendered in the same thread. I'm not sure if that makes it clear, but yeah, basically we need to find a way to pass this information even easier, even earlier, before Nuxt actually start to listen to it. So yeah, one way to do is like we can parse mode to dark. I think that would do. Otherwise, not so sure how you can do it. Or maybe we can check what kind of information we would have. So here, if when we when we kind of checking inside this friend, so let's check. So we have a window. So we have a parent, and the parent will be globe and window. And this document, what is this document? This document is it itself. So the Windows parent is it itself. So it may not be able to do it, I guess. It's in secure context. Yeah, I'm wonder if they can if it can have the access to window. Here, if it's Windows document. I don't think you're going to reference these things directly. Document is itself. So one way is to do so is like indeed that's passing a paragraph inside sorry, a parameters in this URL. Otherwise, I was thinking if we can change something in the files. Wait, probably we could do it, right? Let me check. So if the color mode. Oh wait. Scripts. So if we do header, right? Header, and we can inject a script here. So head and script like that. And we can have a inline HTML to say that's a document. Yeah, if we do like that, it basically like injecting these things into the HTML, render HTML. And I wonder if that would help. So now it's basically default to dark mode. All right. Let's see if there's a flash of white. No. Yeah, you don't have the flash because it's now default to dark. And this thing is interesting because I think that this is something that we can inject it as we kind of mount that component. As we kind of mount that files. So so let's see. So basically what you can do, let's check. So we can fire up another server. We can back to the template. So this is like inside this config.ts, right? And this is not very like editable. And here you see, okay, this is default to dark because here we don't have any parents to send message to us. So this is basically, yeah, if we check the page source, so we will see that here we injected into a script to adding this dark. So wait, actually we don't need to do it like that. If we can be statics, we can say HTML is head and HTML are attributes and class dark, right? And we can directly render it like that. So yeah, here you can have the class.dark here. So when we refresh the page, is by default is dark. And in order to do so, we don't want to change the nuxt.config, but I think like let's check nuxt rc file. I think let's go to nuxt.com to see if there's if the document mentions it. It doesn't mention it. So I guess that's something that I know already. So so we have on.js and there's rc19, I think. No, where is it? What's it? It's called rc21. No. So if we search for rc, oh, it's rc9. I'm sorry. And rc9 basically allows you to have a something dot file, which is rc9, right? So basically to say that here is the .config, but in Nuxt we support .nuxtrc, and .nuxtrc is basically to say that if you have db user and .something, and when you read it, it will becomes a structure, and it will merge back to the nuxt.config. So basically what we could do is to adding a file here. So we have a nuxt rc, and this so we basically have app header, so we can copy app header and HTML attribute, HTML attribute and class equal to dark, and now we can remove this thing. So here it should be like adding this thing, right? And you refresh it. Okay, it doesn't work. Nuxt RC. Yeah, Nuxt RC can be global or can be local. I think that's the case. So here, if you have a Nuxt RC under your, yeah, sorry, thank you, as app header, and yeah, and it works, right? It works. So if you put it under your project folder, it will also merge it, but it's only affecting this current folder. So that means we can injecting these files in the runtime. So what we could have is basically to say, here we can just copy it, and we can go to our web container thing here, and files here, right? And here we have the tree. So maybe we could have a tree dot like push. I think tree is a file system tree, and the file system tree would be let's go to the type definition. So it'll be a name like that and the file node. So that means we can do dot npm nuxtrc and equal to file content, and what we could have is basically the content here. So we had like this. Yeah. So basically we're basically injecting these files into the web container, and only if the color mode. So I guess that's passing into a color mode. think that would be do. So if color mode equal to dark, and we injecting this thing, inject .nuxt RC. So that's we can. And only if it's dark. So we injecting this thing. And I hope that works. And to mount this color mode, we need to pass the color mode here. So we have a color mode of value. And we don't need to, oh, it's string. Okay, now we can do it as string as well. But anyway, it can only be dark and light at current stage. So, and yeah, so let's try if that works. So we go back to the playground. So 3000. It's too big. Why is so long? Why is it taking so long? I guess I'll just refresh it. Right? No. Is there some bugs here? Nope. But why the installation takes forever? That's a bit weird. Oh, because oh yeah. Yeah, I think at least I should remove that file. Because this is dynamic injected. We don't need that file. But again, that's I'm not understanding why like installing dependency take forever. Nope. How can I clean the okay key value storage? What's that? No, this is elk. Okay, if we clean the storage, it will force the container to install a new dependency. It says it's dumb in something like that. So that's pretty weird. That's not something we want. Oh. How? How I just removed that part? I guess that's by mistake? I don't understand it. Did I? Did you saw it? Did you saw it? That's pretty weird. Why I did that? I don't remember I did that. Okay, it's working. So let's look carefully if they have a flash of white. Yeah, no, that's correct. So basically it. So we kind of injecting that part and we change it to white is synchronize it. And if we refresh it again, we see that if there has a flash of dark, and I suppose it shouldn't. And I also want to remove this screen. So yeah, I think that's something that's yeah, the color looks good and it synchronized it. So and yeah, I think that's it. So basically we can commit it, fit and sync. color mode. All right, and I'll push it so you can see it. And I think maybe that's get rid of the loading screen to see if that would work. So and I kind of think that what we could do here. So we basically swamp a new dApp. And that's the dApp server, right? And the dApp server will call making the play status as ready. And that was because we assumed that Nuxt as ready like immediately. But actually it wasn't, even though it's exposed a port already. And that was because like in Nuxt we want to have the server as ready as soon as possible, so that you can see the feedback and it will polling it, so that that's why you will see a lot of like error here. That was the loading screen. That was the loading screen trying to polling if the Nuxt server is ready on the client side to the server side. And if we want to not doing that, we basically take over that part of responsibility. So yeah, I think that's check page source. And no, this is already done. So I guess in order to do that, I think that we mean, yeah, we can just check the source code if you prefer. I think it's Nuxt template. Nuxt template, UI template. Here. I think it's Nuxt UI template. And this repo should be okay. It's Nuxt assert. And here package, here template, and welcome. Oh, I think it's loading. And here. So it's the style is here, and the CSS the script is here. I think those is mostly the scripts. Okay, so the fetch, when the fetch is undefined, just trying to reload itself. Otherwise, it will fetch the URL. It will fetch it itself, and when there is a like Nuxt loading, it will just try it again. So what we could have is basically like that. So I think we can have not like this. So for the status to be ready, we need to wait for it. So we basically let's try. So what we could have, I think, is be like we have a function polling until server ready. I'm not sure. So so here so we can do asynchronize it. So it will just basically returns a new promise. So that we can just wait for it. We can just here we can just wait for polling until server ready, and then like we can have the play status to be ready like that. So so here we haven't implement all the logic here. So we have a resolve and reject. And in order to do that, at least we should have the preview location ready. So and I'm not so sure what's the efficient way to do it. Oh, maybe we could have a promise called new promise, and we have a resolve reject promise, right? And we can't we can have a promise server port, maybe. And then we have promise server port resolve. Then here that would be a function of nothing. And here we can have resolve. I'm not sure if this can be a little bit abstract. And here we basically create a promise, and we kind of make its resolve handlers outside of this promise. And here we can just await for it. So await this promise. And here we can make sure that here this has been called. So here has to be defined. And in order to do that, we have the URL and the port so that we can try to polling it. And I'm not sure if so basically like we create a promise, and the promise only when you await for a promise, it will only be resolved when a resolve function is being called. And the promise is empty promise. We don't do anything inside this promise. Instead, we just putting this resolve handler outside, and we call that in another function. So whenever this being called, and this will be resolved, and if that would make sense to you. And here then we basically have the preview location to be ready, and then we basically have a URL to be we just added in. And now we basically try while. I'm not sure. And so maybe let's do while true, or maybe we can do a few retry, I think. So let's try retries. So we can do like, I don't know, 20 retries. That's it. So and while that retry is still true, and after that we just retry -1. So it will be like 20 and 19, and until being 0, the while loop will be exit. So then we can have a reject here. So if we no longer have any retries, and we can say timeout, say a new arrow, and like that. So we have a polling timeout. So here we need to await a new promise to say we need to do something about that. We wait for like 10 milliseconds, maybe like just say 300 milliseconds, 2, I guess 2. So like in every second we're polling for 5 times, and then here we just fetch the URL we have, and then we have the URL, then we have r.text, and basically we can copy this logic here. So the body will be like this. So so if body includes, when the body includes Nuxt loading, that means that we are finished. We don't need this. If the bodies not include Nuxt loading, that means we are finished. So we call resolve, and we can return it. And this promise is void, so we're just using void. And it says you shouldn't use. I guess that's fine. I'm okay with that. I just disable the ESLint for now. So basically we are polling until the body is not included Nuxt loading. So in order to make sure we can log it to see body, and to see what the body is. So basically let's go to the playground to see. So we have inspect here. So it shouldn't shows, like ideally it shouldn't shows the loading server, and it should shows the body. Okay, it's not working. Okay, and that's, let me try. So here retries. Do we have a body? No, we don't have a body. Okay, yeah. The first thing is here we need to change our preview logic. So the preview logic currently wait, where is it? Where is it? Here. Client here. So basically we currently only checking if the preview URL is available. So we also need to check if the play dot status equal to ready. So we don't mount this iframe beforehand. So we only mount it when the status being set as ready, which means that would be after this polling until server ready here. So we only set this here. So we refresh the page again. And I'm not very sure if that will work. Okay. It cannot be fetched, and because it's no cross origin. Okay. How can I do it? Fetch. JS fetch no cross origin. I guess that's no cross origin. So mode. I don't know. That's right. Yeah, sending a message back to the parents when the server is ready would also do. But it basically means that you need to mount the iframe and hide this iframe until the message being called. So that's another approach. I guess that would also work, but that's first to see if that would work. Mode, I guess it's mode. So no cross origin. I guess that looks like this, and then we can try if that would work. Not fun. Not fun. So we basically catch it, and we return an empty string like that. So we try it again. So we should see the body, and wait. Okay, it still returns. So it's 404. How can be 404? Maybe that's wait for a second. I don't know. New promise like that. If we wait for like so it's still 404. I'm not so sure that's why is this case. So so basically that we can just reject polling timeout. So we basically try polling once, so retries. So this is the first time. At least I think at least we should try. We should do polling for a few times in order to make the server ready. It's directly ended. Oh, okay, here. If it's not a body, and yeah, at least we should check if a body is something, and check if there is a Nuxt loading here. So otherwise it will just exist too early. Because it might be 404, and 404 we shouldn't. We should wait for it and for a few times. I guess maybe add initially. Okay, it's always empty. It's always empty. So okay, so that's probably because we have this mode, no course origin, and I'm not understanding it. I'm not sure that's why you can set an URL to iframe, but you are not allowed to fetch it. Oh, okay, that's different. That is because it's course origin indeed, and it's not allowed to programmatically fetch something that is cross origin. But for iframe, at least it allows you to do that. You can do it. So yeah, I think that we need to rework. Yeah. So I think basically, yeah, I think we need to rework this thing. So it's not going to work like this. So I think we probably basically to kind of remove all these things. It's not going to work. But we are not set ready. So here we kind of set to start, right? And for the iframe client, what we could do is to have a little bit like we do absolute position, and we have inset 0. Inset 0 is a shorthand to left 0, right 0, bottom 0, top 0. This is a new CSS property, just for your information. So here, because we do absolute positioning, and that means okay, yeah, we need to move these things out. So let's try. But then we will handle we'll go the approach that Circle mentioned, is like we will sending an event from the client to tell that to tell the parent that when the server is ready. Okay, it's going too big because we have the absolute here, but we don't have the relative in the parent. So here, I think we can basically have like something like this. So which will be height and full, width will be full, and the relative yeah, something like that. So you kind of capture it inside these things, right? And all right. So basically now we have this friend. We need to kind of hide it. So another way to do that. So basically, I think we could do it is like we can hide it. In order to hide it, I think we can. Yeah, I'm a bit lost. So basically here, so in order to hide it, we can have a bit like style, and like we can have to say that play the status equal to ready, and if it's ready, we will have it. We'll do nothing. Otherwise, we will have an opacity, and it's yeah. Just let you know that if you hide the iframe entirely, it doesn't load at all. So you cannot do like display none, because display none will just make the iframe content not mounted. And a kind of a trick to do that is you do like opacity 0.0.1. So it's the render still think there's a friend here, and it's trying to mount it, but it's actually because it's too low, so you don't see it. And I'm not sure if it works. So we refreshed. Oh yeah, I think we need to update this plugin to say, and we basically send here. It's like we say we are ready, and yeah, and then back to the client scene. So where did we add this event listener? Okay, I think what we did is here, right? So wait, what? Okay, here we do the listen to message here. So we can do a case that's ready. So sending from the iframe, and we can set the play status to be ready. I'm not sure visibility hidden will do, but we could try. But let's check the iframe. So here, after the install dependency, yeah, we should be able to see the iframe. Well, that's here is in a DOM you have the iframe, but here you don't have it. And we are booting the server, and okay, you see, it magically works. And that is because we are kind of handling behind those loading screen, and once that is ready, sent back to a server. It was sent back to the parent and changing the status to be ready. And once it's ready, we change back to where is it? Yeah, once it's ready, we'll just remove the opacity 0, and that's a bit hack, but at least it works, right? And if we want to do it, it's probably also like we can do point event none, so that when it's hidden, it's not clickable. But I mean, it doesn't matter in this case because it's the loading screen wasn't clickable either. And yeah, that's that. I think that works well, I guess. So here you already see here. All right. So we don't see the loading screen. Well, that's so the good part to not showing the loading screen is that you don't wait for it because we already have a progress here, and also like you don't see a black screen in a light mode because it was like hidden, and once it's ready, yeah, you see that the content is just here. So yeah, that would be very cool, I think. So yeah, I think we can do it. So basically, we still do polling, but we just let the iframe to do the polling because we cannot fetch it outside. So that's kind of the trick, and yeah. So here, find Nuxt loading. Maybe we could do a little bit of comment here. Where is it? So I guess we can do it like here. We wait for the client to send a ready message. So we don't show the loading screen. All right, and we can Yeah. And yeah, I switched back to input mono. So the founder is input mono. And yeah. So at least this is how it works. So we make the previews matching with the sim we have. And let's talk about the communication part. Because currently like we are kind of guessing. Here the type, I think here the type is any. It doesn't show any types here. The type is any. So basically we kind of just guessing around. So we need to remember that here we have the ready, here we have uh the the update path, and also here is like we're just doing a lot of like messenger around, and I don't think that's a very good thing to maintain in the long term. So what we could do is like we can introducing a RPC system, and RPC is kind of remote procedural call. I think it's called remote procedural call. It's basically we want to have a function to just we just call that function and it'll handles the underlying dependency, the underlying communication part automatically. So it'll for us it'll be like a local function to call, and here you can have TRPC. I think and there's a lot of RPC implementation, and the TRPC is interesting because it's enabled TypeScript, and also it does like the payload validation. So it checks how each types works or how each properties, and I think this is a good thing. It's a good library to use for like when you are building business, like when you want to communicate with the backend and like the client side. What do I mean? The front end and the back end, and well, I think this is probably a little bit too much for us. So I think we are going to use something that's called a BRPC. I made it. So BRPC is a pretty minimum RPC protocol. It's basically based on proxy, and it does basically nothing rather than like just forwarding a wrapping to some how do I say that? A wrapping to some messenger call, and it doesn't do any like payload validation, but it allows you to pass the TypeScript to pass the types you want, and this project is being used by VTest. So VTest like using this to handles the main thread and the workers communication, and it's also used by Nuxt dev tool to handle the client and server communication. And the reason why we use this over TRPC, I think, is because we kind of basically controls both part, and because we are not actually whether we are client and server structure, but we controls both client and servers. We don't have the misalignment issue, so we don't have different version for backend client the client side, because we have it inside the same code base, and we don't do all these things. So for having this is pretty enough, and this implementation is pretty simple. So it's like only 500 bytes, and it's like 300 line, and that like 50 line would be like BRPC group, which group is like for broadcasting, but for one-to-one communication means only like 240 lines, and it's pretty simple, and most of them are comments. So it's pretty simple, and but it's just basically adding types to those message passing. So I think we can try to use it, and so we basically install so BRPC stand for bidirectional. And I think for that, I think at we may need to adding this to the template as well. And we can close it and we can do like that. So so here, in order to do so, we could have we could first define that what do we have for I think we can define the types. So here we have the types folder, and I want it as the top level. And for the types folder, we have RPC and TS. So what we have is basically to say client functions and server functions. The server function means that's the function that the server exposed, and the client function means that's the client exposed. So the server exposed is like we can say ready, which does nothing. It's just a function. And to be more explicit, it's like we can say on client ready, and for the server and also like yeah, I think we can just say on ready and on navigate. So we can have a path here, and for the client, like on color mode change. So here, basically like that. So currently we only have these three from our previous thing, and here so for BRPC, it's like both sides are equal. So even though we can call it as a client and server, but while that's so we have a create BRPC. And so BRPC, so we can say RPC create BRPC. And here there's two types. It's remote functions and local functions. So here, because now we are in the template, so the remote function will be server functions, and the local function will be client functions. And here we kind of passing you can see the types, and here we implement the I think it's let's check. So the functions, yeah, we just implement the local functions. So the local function will be client functions and on color mode changes. So here we only have these things, I think. And here we also has post. We need to handle, like we need to tell that BRPC that's how we can handle those functions. So here we just import those things. Types RPC. All right. So we have the mode, we have the types inferred, and that looks good. And for post message is like how we can post the message here, right? So we basically put in here. We can just post data like this. Just tell that's how you can do it, and listen to the events is basically like that. And origin, I guess we can check for origin for later, but basically we had add event listener, and when it tells like how you receive message and how you post message, and I think that's it. And then here we say the post message, right? So we have RPC called like on navigate, and we too. So you see that's it's being properly typed, so we don't need to we can remove all those things. And here we have RPC on ready, we call it, and we remove this part. And because we already handles on color mode changes, so here we can also remove this part. We don't need to listen to it. So if we want to make it more clean, so we can have functions. So it'll be client functions and functions. So then we can basically hide all those things. We can hide these things, and this is the functions we have, and that's it. Oh, well, maybe we can extract these things. to be a new function in the module scope. So I will say create RPC. And that's it. So basically we hide all those post and on details. So here it's pretty clear. Here we have include. Can we do it? I don't know. But anyway. Okay, I think we can just we ignore this arrow for now, but I will fix it later. But this is like how you can configure type tsconfig, but it doesn't affect our runtime. And here we're basically setting all the RPC for the client side, and then we can do for the, it's not for a server, it's for the friend. So client server. So maybe we should change the server functions to parent functions. So we can change to friend functions. So it'll be friend. So friend function, parent function. All right. And then we can go back to the main friend, and for the functions here we have a preview. Oh yeah, and it'll be inside this mount web container thing. So here again we have the RPC here. So we have const RPC, create RPC, BIPC. Yeah. And okay, what happened? I think all right. And here again we have the, is there any syntax error? Again we have a create BRPC, right? And the first remote function now it becomes the friend functions, and the local function will become the parent function, because we do it in reverse. So so the BRPC is isomorphic, so it works for both sides. We're just changing the types, like these two generic into different position, and then we can implement the ready. Wait, why I don't have types? I think maybe we need to do the post first. So the post data would be like where is it? Where is it? How do I post data? Oh, I don't know. Yes, right. So for on, that would be simple. Window, add event listener, message, and so we basically have event. I think now if we have this origin, I guess we can check for this origin, and we kind of handles this data. And for post message, I think we don't have the reference to the iframe instant yet. So I think we need to do it. But it's basically for on. What did I say? Oh, the type. I forgot to import these types. So yeah. Okay, and then we have on navigate. So on navigate is path being navigate. Oh, interesting. I guess we don't need to do it here. We can just remove these things, right? And we do it inside this function. So now we have the thing. So we have RPC here, and on navigation, and on ready, right? wait. Oh yeah, I need to import those things again. So brpc, okay. And it's like onReady. So onReady was play status equal to ready, and path would be play preview location for path equals to path. And here we have the iframe here. So we basically have iframe and value content window post message, yeah, like that. And we have the RPC. Yeah, I think that would works. And probably in the client side here. Okay. I'm not sure if we should move inside. I think we can move inside. So here, okay, I need to take, I'm sorry, I just not so sure where to put it. And so this, we can have the iframe value to send this message, because here is the where the message being created, and synchronize. So then we can have RPC like on color mode changes, like that. So we can remove these things. So here we have a full types, and we can do something like that. I guess so. And I think it looks okay now. Okay, yeah. So let's check if it works. So we have the initialize, we have the web container, install dependency, and we boot the Nuxt server. All right. Everything looks fine. See? Yeah, it works. So that's so we basically have the RPC implemented, and I mean this is pretty useful, because every time we need to do something, we just go to this function, and when we want to have the communication part, we can just add one more thing. And here because like currently we all have void, but you can return anything. You can return things, and the data will be forward. So to see, maybe we could add a frame function to get a current route, for example, and it can be returns a string, right? And to get a current route, you see that when I change it, you see here it becomes red, because the get current route is not implemented here. So if I get current route and I returns a router dot current route dot value dot full path, something like that, right? So that's now I get it implemented. So if I want to show, if we want to grab this data, and I can go here with the RPC here, so I can console log. So basically I can RPC, right, and get current routes, and here you know that it returns a promise string, because like message is asynchronized, so it returns a promise. So then I can do like here, so I can console log it. So to get current route, and we go back, we refresh the page, and we see the console log. I guess I need to put it into the mountain. So here I need to asynchronize it. Yeah, I'll refresh it again. And once the server is ready, and it doesn't output it. Oh, really? Oh, is that because this month's playground never exist? No, it should exist. Did I do anything wrong? Get current routes and get current routes. So basically, yeah, I can do like a route equal to await here. So if we prefer the awaiting, it doesn't print it. Yeah, I think I definitely need to improve this performance. It shouldn't be that slow. Okay. That's pretty weird. That doesn't being called. I'm not so sure. So basically we can see if there's hello here. Maybe because this never exists. Never exit. Okay, you have hello, but this function never get returned. I'm not so sure what's happened, but yeah, here we can also guard it here. This should be wait, I cannot guard it here. PRPC timeout, get current route. It says it's timeout. Oh, maybe because of the cache. Would that be? Maybe it's because I changed that thing and it didn't get through. I think it's more likely like that. So you have the hello. Oh, I see why. Because this function being called too early, and I should wait until this server ready. So so what I should do is not. I guess I shouldn't do like here. I should do it on ready here. So if I do on ready, and that should do, I think. Because the server is not ready, so RPC wasn't registered. So I guess that's we need to have a thing. I think have assurance that the RPC is ready, because RPC can be created, but the other client is not online yet. Something like that. So you got timeout. That's weird. Yeah. Dude, this is taking too much time. Okay. When the server is ready. Okay. Now we have that. We have this line. And this is like a return value here. So so if you do like normal post message, that would be a quite mess up if you want to have something returned. So basically you need to send one event to it to say request something, and then that thing is like you need to send back to the request. But then you kind of having a different context when you send this event and receive the event. So the RPC basically wrap with the return result for you, so that you don't need to worry about these things. You can just get the returns directly. Otherwise, if you do message based thing, you need to basically have two events, and you need to pass the properties again. That would be a bit tricky. But like for calling function, it's just adding type safety. But for get returns, we need to it's like actually save a lot of things. So I can just remove all the things. So also like I think in order to a little bit like differentiate between normal message and I guess that's what we could do is to be safe, I think. So here if you want to post a message, we could say data here like that, and we can say source, which is Nuxt playground friend like that. And here we kind of filter out event data source, that will be parent, and then they will have data like that. So and here in the template here, we also could make sure that source that's playground parent, and then we put data inside and event here. So if event the data the source is not from friend, we just don't ignore. We can't ignore it because this message here is like a big buzz that you put a lot of things like on these things, so we need to differentiate it. So and so here is a parent source. So source is Nuxt playground friend, and here we listen to source playground parent, and here we send Nuxt playground parent, and here we check if it's not friend. So let's make it like here to be more consistent. Okay, I think that will do. I just make sure that if the color mode is synchronized, I think it works. It really takes too much time. Wait, the server never starts. I guess we also need a timeout mechanism because wait, is that because I can't messing around? Okay, I think we need to check if the data. So wait, how can I do it? We return it like that. Oh, here. Sorry. So in order to differentiate, maybe that's called payload. That would be easier, I guess. So here we call it payload. Okay. So the data is like the default the thing that the browser has, but we kind of wrapping into another thing. So it should work. So because this never resolved because RPC wasn't working, so the server wasn't start. It should work. Okay. And if we change the color mode, if we change the color mode, it doesn't work. Parent. So the payload here is like this, and payload here. I guess we don't need to check these things. If it is not from Nuxt playground, play, and on color mode change. Yes, that would be good. Almost full. Okay. We have 1 hour and 45 minutes already. Please works. I don't got it. If I okay. This doesn't work for some reason. On color mode changes. If I do navigation, if we do navigation, it works. So, but for the color mode, it's not. Is that because if I change to here, it doesn't do it? I guess that's HTML, right? Is that a different element? I don't think so. So here, if we do here, right? So this is the element is right. So maybe, and maybe what we could do is like when it says ready, we'll synchronize the color mode here, so we don't do it here. I wonder if that works. Still not working. How could it be? On RPC, on color mode change. I guess that has something to do like here. I'm not so sure. So you have a friend, Pedro. Maybe it's because the data is not serialized, I guess. So let's try. Oh, I don't need this anymore. Here I can check. Or maybe I'll just log the. Or maybe it's not. It's because of this line. I don't think it should be. Wait, what happened? And here, if I do here, so if I log here, so frame payload, I wonder if there's if I made any typo. So we just inspect it. So we have parent payload type init. Okay, I think this init is not sent from us. It's sent from something else, right? All right. And we have source, we have payload, and the payload will be, the payload is an object, which makes sense. This I is like is a random ID generated by BRPC in order to kind differentiate between different requests. So actually, if we do on color mode change, so the parameter is dark and the function is like this. So the frame payload is getting this, which is good. And playground parent, Nuxt playground parent. I think I spell it right? Yeah. I think it works. It should work. And the method is on color mode change. And here we have on color mode change, right? So we basically try to see, we kind of log it, the mode. I wonder where's the init from? Is that we send it? No, I think it's not. It's not sent from us. It's not from us. So we have that. Okay, even though we have this frame payload, the data is not coming through. So this function is not being called. That's a little bit weird. Payload. It's payload, right? I didn't make the typo. Oh. I don't know why. So here, this function should be called on color mode change, and this is not being called because we console log a mode here, and it's not. I wouldn't think it's a BRPC issue because BRPC has been there for it's there around for a long time and it's being kind of battle test. So it has to be something wrong on my usage. So here, if I change back to it, now this is not being called. How come? Source. Did I mistype something? So this is source, right? And this is source, right? No. This is source. This is source. It's from source parent. I'm so dumb. Yeah, I just throw away all the useful information here. It should be a non-equal thing. Okay. And I'm so embarrassing. So yeah, now this sure works. Like I literally spent like 15 minutes. Yeah. Okay, I think this works now. Yeah, it works now. Yeah, thanks. Okay. So yeah. So I think this should works, and I just put console log. Okay, we don't have any console log, so we commit it, and yeah. Remember, I like there was a PR, so so here if you want to if I want to kind credit this user, I will copy his name, and you can, I think what you can do is here is like you can add a co-author, and if you type here and it doesn't work for like it lists all the contributor here, but it doesn't work because you don't have they haven't contributed to this project previously. So what I can do is like to add BRPC for communication. And what I can do here is like if I want to add a cursor, you don't know how to do it, right? So I find there's a trick. So I wrote a small article here. So in my notes here, you can have a GitHub cursor, and what you can do is just copy this line, and this is like cursor by, like, even without their email address, you can do so by like pasting here, right? And you change the name here to their ID and here. So what you can do here is like at their username and at user.noreply.github.com, which will make this credit to this account, even you don't have their email address. So like usually like for Git, you need to have their email address to credit them, but you don't know where was the email address they link to their account. So you can always use this. This will always work. So this is something small, but I think it's really important to like attribute people. And also like if I want to link to these PRs, I can do adding let's say close, and then hash with this ID of the PR. So when I merge these PRs into the main branch, it will automatically close that PR. But while that's it will create a link. So I'll commit it, and I will push this commit, and I'll go back to this PR, and yeah, you'll see that it becomes closed. And I don't need to I don't need to close manually, but it will see that here you have the reference to this commit. And if I click this commit, you will see that this is like created by me and by this user, and it also like to say that's how you can do it. So yeah, this is some tricks. So for PRs that you can it can be a pull request, or it can be a issue, to say that if you are creating some PR or commit that fixing some issues, it's always good to like say if you have a close and hash that number of issue, so it can link this commit with that issues. And when the issue being closed, you know there's a reason, there's a commit, and user can check if this commit is something that has been released or not. So they can know that if this features is already on the release or not. So yeah, that's a small tips if you are maintainer. But if you are contributor, it's also good for this thing. So I think that has a documentation close issue with commit. So yeah, here I think GitHub has a documentation. So all this attribute works. So close, fixed, and resolve. And you can basically say close and that number, or you can close a different repo, or you can close you can paste the full link of that issue. That would also work. And when the PRs or when the commit is being pushed, and if the original author have the permission to access these issues, and it will automatically mark it closed. So this is pretty useful to kind of reduce the number of issues, like, and also link them. So yeah, that's it. And yeah, I think that's pretty nice. And oh, by the way, if you want to check the preview, I set a preview is like learn-nuxt.com with Netlify app. So you can see it in production, and it'll be like CI/CD continuous deploy. So every time I push a new commit, it'll be put it here. So ideally you will see the latest changes. Yeah, so here is the production. So you can try with your browser without even cloning this repo. I think that's a lot for today. And Thank you. And we can have a short Q&A if you have any questions. I can explain more about any concept we involve. We have involved anyone anyway. Yeah, I hope you're enjoying. Thank you. We can check for VTest. Create by RPC. Oh, you see, there's a lot. So we have a runner RPC, runtime RPC, and here we also have a little bit different. It's like serialized. We have VA serialized, deserialized, and I think we put them in binary, I guess, and then you can emit message based on different things. So basically, it's just a wrapper, but it doesn't matter if the underlying communication is like post message or WebSocket, or here we use V8. This is emitter. Where is the emitter? Is event emitter, and that's for cross different thread and something like that. So, and this is useful when you can control both sides, and this is also performant because we don't care about the payload validation. While that's for TRPC, it's more important than like a real server and backend front end communication that you need to validate the data, which is like also like you kind of sacrifice a little bit of the performance in order for the correctness. And yeah, oh yeah, I forgot to mention, it's like I'm going to take a day off on Tuesday, no, on Thursday. So we don't have a stream on this Thursday, but I will move it to Wednesday. So that will be tomorrow. So for this week, we don't have a streaming on Thursday, but we will have it on Wednesday, which is tomorrow. And yeah, just let you know. So I already create the, how do I say? I already create a schedule. So so you can still set a reminder. Just let you know. And for the next week, we'll go back to the normal Tuesday and Thursday thing. Yeah, I was thinking to mention it as the beginning of the streaming, but I forgot. What tools I use for versioning? So for versioning, I guess this particular project, we don't need a versioning, but I have a package called bump, BUMPP, which is originally a fork of version bump prompt. Oh, it's promote. It's prompt. It's prompt, right? Prompt. Yeah, it's a prompt. And but a little bit different is yeah, basically like some convenience changes. So basically, if I do I can show you a little. So so this is a package, and it doesn't matter. I just use it as a demo. So what I do is like I do release and I type it. So it'll runs bump and pnpm publish. So then I can select which version I would like to have. So basically by normal is bumping a patch, but if you know this is going to have a feature, you do minor. If you do a major, or you can do pre-release. So you basically select that and you press enter, it will release it. And I won't do it here, I cancel it. And so what I do release is here is basically a script with release here, like this, a line. So what I'll just go to the project at type release, and what bump will do is like it will create a commit. It will bump the version of the here, and it will create a commit. It will create a tag, and it will push to GitHub, and GitHub will do the automation thing. And here we have a GitHub action. It will run changelog GitHub, which will generating the changelog on GitHub. And if I do, it's like I can check config. Yeah. So here it will create a release for this, and it will generate changelog, and that's it. Oh, the icon here, right? Let me check. So where is the extension? Here, manage extension. So I think it's here. So how can I do it? Chrome, view Chrome Web Store. Here. So it's 5 icons for GitHub and GitLab. And yeah, you just install it and it works. And file icons is a project actually, I think. So here I also use file icons. So here it's like file icons. So here, this is an extension called file icons, and they kind of have an organization, I think, repository. So so yeah, it's organization of file icons, and they have Atom. I think they originally started as Atom Atom extension, and then we have VS Code. They ported it to VS Code, and then like here for this part, for this package, they use the same icon set, which is the same as I use for editor. So it's like quite consistent. I pretty like it. Yeah, it's live. It's live. But it's going to end it. So yeah, I can do like 2 more if you have. Otherwise, we'll call it a day. And yeah, again, like I'll see you tomorrow at the same time, and feel free to come by if you have time. I'm not sure what to do for the next. I think probably we could do the editor. Wait, what I want to say? I probably can do the Monaco editor, but I'm not so sure. Like because it will take a lot of time, and yeah, basically I think at least we should update this checklist. So we have the friend to parent communication. We have the PNA. We have the synchronized basic state. Yeah, we have the buttons to restart the server, and also like I think we need to have a button for toggling the terminal. So I'm thinking that we can move the refresh button to here, and we should have a refresh button here to terminal to kind of terminate the process and then start a new Nuxt process again. Something like that. And I think we should have a close or like a triangle here to like close the terminal, hide this terminal. And but for now, like we still want to show the terminal for debugging purpose. But when it's going to be ready, and we can what did I say? Yeah, we can hide terminal by default. And so editor I think editor we can do it next week, because I think at least we need two, or we need two string in order to get it usable. So like if I do it tomorrow, that will make it like half finished, and then we will need to wait for another week. So I think it's better to do it in a 1 week. That would be more continuously, I guess. And yeah, so I think for tomorrow we're going to add a little bit of interactive buttons, something like that. And I'm thinking that maybe we can have a setting page, and I'm not yet sure that's what kind of setting we want, but we could have a setting page here. But yeah, that depends. Yeah, I didn't. I think that's I just pretty random workly. So I didn't expect that we were doing this style syncing thing today, but we did. I'm happy we did. So now we kind of have a more unified style across preview, across terminal, and yeah, I'm pretty happy about it. And then later we have this editor. And also the editor here, we need to Monaco and Vola, and the left side we need to build a tree. And that's also not easy to me. Okay, I think that's quite today, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.